You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Right now, I'm concerned because in Tallahassee, they want to arm our teachers with guns.
There's a lot of things that I can help support and resolve.
Karen Rose challenging incumbent Shirley Brown in the race for Sarasota School Board. Both candidates side by side face off. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the two candidates running for District 4 of the Sarasota School Board in a moment. But first, our top stories at 7. We begin tonight with a renewed debate over the controversial Stand Your Ground law after the sheriff fails to charge a man after he shot and killed the father of 3 over a parking space dispute in Clearwater. The Stand Your Ground law allows anyone to defend themselves if they believe their life is in danger. However, one local criminal defense attorney says he believes some police are now interpreting the law incorrectly.
I mean, if a guy pushes you in a parking lot and he just pushes you to the ground, that shouldn't give you the right to pull a gun out and kill the guy because you did not reasonably believe that you were about to be killed.
The local activist group Answer Suncoast says it is pairing up with other organizations like Black Lives Matter to circulate a petition and put together more protests against the law. The search continues tonight for the man suspected in a Bradenton double murder. Deputies are searching for Joe Clejuice in connection to a Sunday's double homicide behind a shopping plaza on Cortez Road. The sheriff's office says one of the victims was found dead at the scene. Another was pronounced dead at Manatee Memorial Hospital. Deputies also revealed today there is a 4th person involved in the case who they now say is a witness. Yet another disturbing case of animal abuse to report tonight. A Venice woman is behind bars after Sarasota Sheriff's deputies removed over 30 neglected animals from her home. Elaine Wells was arrested for DUI last month and requested Animal Services respond to her home on Pineapple Place to care for her animals. Some viewers may find the pictures involved in the investigation disturbing. Animal Services found 34 exotic birds flying around the residence. Several birds were underweight, suffering signs of self-mutilation, and lacked access to food or water. They also impounded a 15-year-old Boston Terrier. Wells is charged with 3 misdemeanors, including cruelty to animals. Take a look at this video shared online by the Anna Maria Island Chamber of Commerce. The chamber added that it is moments like this that wouldn't be possible without residents remembering to turn their lights off as part of their ongoing Lights Out AMI movement to help sea turtle breeding on the Suncoast. What an awesome sight there is. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the First Alert forecast. Bob.
Well, they'd have a tough time going out in the waters here. Look at the waves all day long. They've been slamming against the shoreline here as a result of the west to southwest wind flow that we've seen most of the day. We've had a little bit of a variation. It's starting to calm down a little bit out there, but we'll see those winds stay out of the west to southwest tomorrow at 15 knots, and that will again cause some high wave action. So the National Weather Service has decided to keep the rip current advisory in effect through Tuesday evening as a result of that. Now, this area of low pressure really enhanced the storms this morning over Manatee County and North Florida yesterday. Those storms have now shifted well to the east, at least the energy associated with those storms, now well to the east and south of us. There's still some energy out here in the Gulf of Mexico that will kind of pinwheel around this area of low pressure and bring us a chance for some showers and some storms. Now, like we saw this morning, not everyone's going to get in the act, but we will still see some. You can see this trying to get into our coast, but then kind of fading away. That indicates a stable layer here right now, but that is expected to become a little less stable, I think, as we approach the midnight hour. So showers and storms will develop through the Gulf of Mexico, and some of those could be some heavy rain makers as the atmosphere is still pretty moist. That rain now mainly to our north. Not much going on here at all. Some energy off in the Gulf of Mexico. So things will stay pretty quiet right now. If you have any evening plans, maybe a drive to do some errands or something, not a problem, or the sunset should be a pretty good one. This low pressure area will eventually track off toward the west, and we'll have high pressure develop to the south of us on Wednesday, and that will kind of give us back to kind of normal conditions as opposed to what we saw earlier this morning. It's 85 right now. The heat index not too bad at 90 degrees. That's because the humidity is a little bit lower at 63%. We are expecting, again, a good chance for some scattered storms on Tuesday. More on that coming up in a few minutes. Alan?
Thanks, Bob. Let's take a peek at a new feature film called The Watchman's Edict, making its debut tonight at the ABC7 movie theater in Bradenton. The lead actor of the movie is from the Suncoast. Even more impressive, he also helped write the film. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is live at all the festivities. Dwayne. A backstabbing, derision, name-calling, and we're not talking about Washington, but rather the Sarasota School Board. And now 3 members of the board are up for re-election. We're highlighting the races because there are a few things more important than the education of our kids. Tonight, the focus is on District 4, and ABC7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now to introduce us to the candidates. Jess.
Alan, if you live in Sarasota County, you need to listen up because this race affects you. With open district elections, every voter can choose a candidate to elect from each district. And tonight, we're introducing you to the 2 candidates battling it out for the District 4 seat. Meet Shirley Brown, incumbent school board member. And this is Karen Rose, her competitor. Brown has served on the school board for the past 12 years. Before that,
I was in the legislature between 92 and 2000, and public education was a very important part of that. Right now, I'm concerned because in Tallahassee, they want to arm our teachers with guns rather than giving them the tools they need to help our children succeed.
Rose has spent the last 28 years in Sarasota County's education system. She spent 12 years teaching at Southside Elementary. She was a principal at Brookside Middle and later Sarasota Middle. Rose recently retired as the executive director of middle schools for the district.
I really feel like there are some issues on the table, and having served for so many years and having the support of actually students that have grown up and they're adults, neighbors, friends, colleagues, that there's a lot of things that I can help support and resolve.
School security is an issue that is important for both candidates. Brown voted in favor of creating the district's own police force.
This is not something we looked for. This was something I think was forced upon us. And now that we've got it, I want to make sure that we do the best that we can, have excellent officers in there that will work with our kids.
Rose does not support the district police force.
Having been a principal for the 14 years, I had partnerships with our school resource officers, deputies of the sheriff. The quality does not get any better.
Rose instead wants to focus on mental health services.
I truly believe that we can do a better job providing resources through guidance counselors, psychologists, social workers.
During Brown's 12 years of service to school board, she says one of the things she's most proud of is
during the last economic downturn, I convinced our other school board members to go out for the certificate of participation bonds so that we were able to build and rebuild our high schools at the lowest construction cost we'd seen in years, and the interest rates were lowest too.
She's also proud of the increasing school grades given by the state.
I want to make our schools the absolute, undisputed #1 district in this state.
If elected to school board, her challenger, Rose, promises to focus on the students.
I see school board members, some of them, struggling with what I would call political legislative issues, and I'm not going to tell you they aren't important, but for 28 years I have focused in on let's solve the problem, and let's not only solve the problem, let's solve it with children as our focus.
The election is on August 28th, not too far away, and this is technically not a partisan race. However, Brown is a Democrat and Rose is a Republican.
Jess, thank you. Coming up in a moment, the candidates duke it out at the trapezoid.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Welcome back. These have been an interesting few months at the Sarasota School Board. The Parkland massacre sent school boards throughout the state scrambling to make schools safer for students and teachers. But in Sarasota, that process devolved into nasty text messages and name-calling, derision. There are some fundamental philosophical differences on the school board, mostly between Democrats and Republicans, although technically this is a nonpartisan race. There are few things more important than the education of our kids. There are 3 seats up for grabs next month, so we are going to host debates for each of them. Tonight, District 4, we welcome incumbent Shirley Brown and challenger Karen Rose. Welcome to you both. And we first want to give you both a chance to give an opening statement. And Shirley, you are the incumbent, so take it away.
Well, I've been serving on the school board since 2006. I came in on 2006 because they were having some problems of turnovers of superintendents, and I came on to help bring some stability to the district, which I did. And I'm glad to see that our district is performing so well. This last group of tests that we had, we came out with 4 percentage points higher than we were. We're an A-rated district, solidly A-rated, just 2 points behind the #1 district. And that is my goal. My goal is to make us the #1 district in the state of Florida. And I will continue to advocate that, and I will continue to advocate for our public schools.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan. I have 28 years as a professional educator serving our children and our families, as a teacher, as a principal, most recently executive director of middle schools. I am endorsed by the Sarasota Teachers Classified Association, the Republican Party, former Superintendent Wilma Hamilton, and most recently the Sarasota Manatee Realtors Association. I hold a master's degree in education, and I am certified in the state in leadership and administration. I will be a force in safety of our schools, focusing in on the mental health issues overwhelming our schools, rebuilding relationships with our local law enforcement, continuing to impact the performance of our schools. As leader of middle schools, I grew our middle schools. 4 middle schools grew in grade. We have no C's. I moved middle school acceleration from a ranking of 15th in the state to 3rd, and built college and career programs in each one of our middle schools. And the budget is very important in that process, going back to being a support to our students.
Okay, our conversation on the Sarasota School Board will continue in just a few minutes, but right now let's get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, Ellen, I can tell you this, getting a look at the photos right there, we can see some damage that occurred. Well, we'll take a look at that in a minute, but the sunset should be quite nice tonight. Things have calmed down considerably from our tower camp vantage point looking out over Sarasota Bay. Winds have come down, the sea state getting a little bit better, but those winds are expected to get a little stronger later on tonight. And again, we are looking at the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. Dangerous rip currents continue up and down west central Florida. Surf has been high, bashing the coast with those west to southwest winds all day long. Yesterday, the same story, and that creates that channel of water that takes you out away from the beaches if you get caught in it. Obviously, it's a dangerous situation. Don't try to swim against it. You should swim parallel to the coast, and then eventually you'll get out of it and try to swim back. Of course, yell and scream for help as well. More late night and early morning storms are possible. We're already starting to see some develop in the Gulf, and it looks like this low pressure area that has brought us the unsettled weather and windy weather will eventually move out of here. We'll get back to more normal conditions with high pressure down to our south will build in on Wednesday with a still west wind, but showers and storms in the morning along the coast and then mainly inland in the afternoon will return on Wednesday and Thursday before things change again. Well, you can see the bigger storms up near Gainesville now and Jacksonville near Stark, and here's that area of showers. Not a lot to it, but it is developing, meaning we are looking at some energy there, and just a few showers just recently have popped up off the coast of Pinellas County near Clearwater Beach, and those are pushing off to the east. So expect some of that to work its way down into our coast here in the next couple of hours. I think we'll start to see a little bit better chance for some more significant showers and storms. Right now those are very small, obviously, but they could get bigger. Flood warning in effect for the Manatee River at the Myakka Head. We're expecting flooding and going over its bank by tomorrow midday. Water vapor imagery showing a lot of moisture still out here in the Gulf of Mexico and still overhead. So the storms that do pop up, and if they get a chance to develop, will produce some locally heavy rainfall. Locally, meaning some areas may not get the rain like we saw this morning. Sarasota didn't get much at all. There is some dry air over the Panhandle and near Alabama and Mississippi tonight. We'll start to get into a little bit of that. Our moisture content will erode a little bit. That happens on Wednesday, but still a little bit is the key word there because we're still going to see showers and storms, I think, moving in and out of the area over the next 7 days or so. So here's the futurecast showing showers popping up in the Gulf of Mexico, working their way onshore. Again, overnight, I don't think they'll be as strong, but there's a potential for one or two to create some stronger winds and also some lightning as well. Unfortunately, I know a lot of folks got up early today as a result of the storms that moved through this morning in Manatee County. And then again, Tuesday evening, even late Tuesday night, still depicting some showers scattered about and pushing onshore. We get that steady west wind. That low pressure eventually shifts out and moves out of here, and we will see that high pressure ridge start to build in from the south. It's 88 right now in Key West, 80 in Miami. They had some big storms there earlier. 85 in Sarasota, 90 in Tallahassee. That wind component will stay on a westerly direction anywhere from 5 to 10 through this evening, but picking up again tomorrow up to about 15 miles an hour, gusts as high as 20 at times, especially on area beaches, and that west wind unfortunately continues to bring that red tide, the ill effects of red tide onshore. Rip currents are possible tomorrow. Scattered storms will be around. Southwest winds otherwise at 5 to 10 knots. And picking up to 15 in the afternoon. Seas will be running 2 to 3 feet. The extended forecast, I mentioned a chance for showers each and every day. A better chance on Tuesday than Wednesday and less of a chance on Thursday as a result of that high pressure trying to build back in. A good chance of return to those afternoon and evening variety of storms that we're all too familiar with here during the summer that we really haven't seen much of. They'll be back on Saturday and Sunday, returning to the coastal locations late in the day. Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value and great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Me, pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh man, I love technology. Hey, yo, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money to build a brand new facility. It will be bigger and better, just like it was 40 years ago when I attended. Invest in kids, build great futures.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Welcome back. There are 3 seats up for grabs next month on the Sarasota School Board. We're going to host debates for each of them. Tonight, District 4, we welcome incumbent Shirley Brown and challenger Karen Rose. All elections are about whether or not the incumbent should be rehired and whether or should be fired. So Shirley, let me start by asking you the essential reason that you would like voters to rehire you on the school board.
Well, I think for the time that I've been on the school board, we've been an A school. I mean, for all of that time, and it's even more solid now. But I think I've got the legislative experience to know. I think one of the most important jobs we do on the school board is to advocate for our public schools in Tallahassee, because, you know, what Tallahassee does is what we have to implement oftentimes. And we need to see when they're trying to play a shell game with us. You know, like what they did with the funding this year. I mean, they told everybody they're giving us all this money, but in return, the base student allocation only increased by 47 cents. You have to have an understanding of how the budget works to see how they do that. And, you know, and as they're, you know, passing these bills at the last minute, and you have to understand how it's going to affect you, and to be able to have those relationships, not just with the legislators, but also the staff in Tallahassee, and with the Florida School Boards Association, to speak with a solid voice for public schools, and I've been doing that.
Karen, why should voters fire Shirley and hire you?
Well, Alan, I have 28 years of working directly with children, being a child advocate, working with families firsthand, and our teachers and our administrators. I have a track record of developing A+ schools, working in schools that if there's a critical incident, and building teams, leading teams, collaborative teams, bringing cohesiveness, listening to our teachers, being a support to teachers. I'm certainly not a career politician. My platform isn't a legislative platform. It is the real issues that our teachers are facing every day, the safety that our parents are concerned about when their children go to school.
One of those real issues is the safety of our schools, especially after what happened in Parkland. And I'm curious about what you both think about the Guardian program that was part of the state legislature's response to Parkland. So Karen, let me start with you. The
Sure.
Guardian program, we have not utilized that or chose to utilize that in Sarasota, but would you be in favor of arming school employees not police officers, to protect our children and staff?
Well, Alan, let me tell you what I'm in favor of. With 14 years of direct partnership and being a partner and leading a critical incident in my school or overseeing all 8 middle schools, I'm a strong advocate to build our relationship with our local law enforcement. Their level of expertise, training, and talent is unsurpassed, and I speak to that firsthand. This is a community that deserves the best. Our children deserve the best, and I will continue to be an advocate to build that.
But let me follow up.
Sure.
I don't know if you answered the question. Are
Sure.
you for armed guardians in our school from trained existing staff?
I'm going to follow up and I'm going to answer you directly and frankly. I am for partnering with local law enforcement and vetting our plan with them hand in hand every step of the way. If that's the best we can do in our partnership that's existed throughout my career, I would look to the skills and talent of the local law enforcement to come to that conclusion together with them.
Sure. Well, I'm going to let you respond. We only have a couple of seconds left, so why don't you start and then we'll carry it on to the next.
Well, I know Guardians was something that the sheriff was asking to do, and I think he's putting them in some of our charter schools. But Guardians are not law enforcement personnel, and they can be school employees, not teachers. No. Well, they can be a teacher if they do something other than just teaching. So I am not for arming our teachers with guns. I'm for arming them with the tools they need to educate our students, not to guard our students.
Well, of course, I'm not for arming teachers either.
We have to take a quick
Sure.
break to pay the bills. We're just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the Sarasota School Board raise for District 4 will continue after a quick break. Stay with us.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jaffe Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
My name is Luke Perry. and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back, everyone. There are 3 seats up for grabs on the Sarasota School Board next month, so we're going to host debates for each of them tonight. District 4, we welcome incumbent Shirley Brown and challenger Karen Rose. And Shirley, I said that I was going to give you an opportunity to respond. We're talking about the Guardian program. What were your final thoughts on that?
Well, Karen talked about how she felt about the police officers and the partnerships. You know, this is an unfunded mandate from, well, partially funded mandate from the state. You know, they came up with another simple solution to a complex problem. They said we needed to put, you know, to make our kids safe, we needed to put, you know, a police officer in every schools. I was surprised when our sheriff came back with the contract that said he would no longer share the cost with us. But more importantly was that basically there were going to be cops in schools, or you know, they weren't going to be the same partners that we had, the resource officers that would work with the kids and that would have these trusting relationships, because that's what's important. We need to have, when the students see something, they say something. And not only do they say something, but we have something to follow up with when they do. I would have liked to have continued the same partnership we have, and we will for the next year. But in our elementary schools, we've decided to start with our own resource officers.
In all fairness, Alan, I do need to add that I have to ask the question, is the internal police force a funded piece? Where are those funds coming from, and where do they end? It's a heavy lift. When you look at the amount of training, if you attended the meeting with a local sheriff and the police
chiefs, budget shows
let
where
me
the funding
finish,
is coming
Shirley,
from.
please.
The funding
If you
shows.
look at it, where does that end with the current funding? That is unanswered at this point. And as far as the contract goes with the Sheriff's Department and the SROs, I experienced that contract firsthand for 14 years plus 3 additional, and I didn't see any differences in there.
I want to get a lot in the section. So
there were major differences between last year and this year. Major differences.
Karen, let me ask you this question. There was, I mean, this really broke down in ways that that nobody was really happy with, in terms of the arguments between the school board and the sheriff and the superintendent. The cost of providing the SROs was split evenly up until this year, when the sheriff tried to make the case that the school board should and the school department should bear the entire cost, and now it's 80-20.
Sure.
What did you think about what he did?
I can tell you what I do know, and I'm certainly not going to speak for the sheriff. I have the utmost respect for him, and that's a result of the working relationship for 14 plus years. I'm going to look to Superintendent Lori White, and as a school-based principal for those 14 years, every year there was deliberation on the school resource officers, and there was question as to whether we would still have them, how they would be funded, so forth and so on. And I can tell you every year it landed exactly where it should and what this community deserves.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't understand what you're saying.
Sure.
I'm asking you, what did you think about the sheriff's move to get the school board to pay a larger piece of the pie?
I think that if the rest of the municipalities were paying a different price, that's certainly a dialogue that needed to transpire, not just with our superintendent, but with the school board who approves the budget. I think that dialogue and communication is key, and I think that that has been a weakness of our officials, and that with appropriate communication that it could have been resolved, and it will be, because I will be rebuilding that communication.
You know, it concerns me a little bit that you know, my opponent talks about, you know, her experience and how she knows what to do and what she would have done. But in reality, I mean, less than 2 weeks after Parkland, when it was all hands on deck, if there was experience to be shared, it should have been done then. What she did instead was walked off the job, quit without giving any warning.
That is not true. That is a false statement.
Well,
and the only
record
reason
shows, I don't want to argue
it's not an argument. The only reason that narrative could exist, Ms. Brown, is because you won't have dialogue with me about the real issues that are facing our families and our children.
Right,
safety, mental health.
Hold on one second. I want to give you a chance to describe why you left your position at that point, and then let's move on to other educational issues.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking. Technically, I was retired in November of 2013, and I made my retirement official through our Human Resources Department with a week's worth of meetings. I was told by the Human Resources official that I was following every procedure and every policy, and I gave 2.5 weeks notice.
All right, I want to get a couple of things in here, including the superintendent's contract, which you just had a performance review last week, and there is a debate over language that would give the school board an opportunity to end his contract without cause. Your position on that, Shirley?
I was totally taken aback by that language that was brought. I did not see it, and I can't talk about how I'm going to vote because that's public records, sunshine laws. I would like to take that language and compare it to the language that we had in Lori White's contract. I think there might have been some problems with fire without cause because there were people anxious to do that. I mean, there should be a reason why you're firing someone. I think I'd like to look at the language that's in Lori White's contract. But regardless, if there's those types of divisions, I think what we need to do, and I mean there's divisions, the union and the superintendent aren't talking, and there's 2 board members that are very unhappy. I think we need to sit down, and if we can have, we've got restorative justice in our schools, why can't we have it with our board?
Right.
Sit down and resolve the problems that are out there.
2 minutes left here. I want to get to 1 or 2 other subjects. Go ahead, Karen.
The contract for all administrators in Sarasota County is annual, and there is a terminate without cause. Our teachers are on an annual contract. The opportunities to have bonus pay and raises is based on performance, and the collective evaluation of this superintendent was less than effective. There are issues in how that's translated. There are fiduciary issues and how we are accountable to guaranteeing a contract for 4 years when we don't know what the funds will be. And last point, Alan, it leaves a newly elected board without the ideal opportunity for oversight and guidance.
Okay, one other issue, vouchers. Would you like to see that expanded to allow parents to put their kids into a charter school, or go slow?
28 years I've supported I've supported public schools, and vouchers are in contrast to public schools. I am not an advocate. I do not support vouchers. However, Alan, saying no to vouchers is not enough, and the students that meet criteria for vouchers according to legislative rule are our special education students, our low-income students. Those students are not performing at grade level. Only 28% of our special education students could read.
Shirley,
well,
weigh in here.
That information is inaccurate.
No, it is not. Look at the data. Look at your own data.
Please don't argue. You look at the law, and the law says, now the Hope scholarships, there is nothing, and you look at the corporate charters, the corporate scholarships, that's up to 260% of poverty. The students never had to have attended a public school at all, let alone a failing public school. And that is increasing, and it's up to going to be $1 billion, increases 25% a year. Excuse me.
All right.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
It's a legislative
platform.
Excuse me.
I tell you what, folks, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Give today at force.uso.org.
According to a new survey by U.S. News & World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality, we just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
Our guests join us right now for Final Thirds, but Shirley, we were talking about vouchers for charter schools. I wanted to wrap it up. You both get 30 seconds here.
Okay, well, you're mixing apples and oranges
Okay,
too.
I'm sorry.
Charters are one thing, vouchers are
yes,
another. And I'm opposed to the private for-profit charter school management companies that are trying to come in and take over our schools. But I'm also opposed to the charters, the vouchers that are coming down. There seems to be another one every year. And there seems to be alternative facts on who gets vouchers. I know the law. I've been following them. I've been lobbying them. They are increasing 25% a year, the dollar amount this year, to make sure that they get enough businesses to contribute those dollars, because it'll be almost $250 million they have to increase them by this year. They have to get enough businesses to give them. They're giving the top 200 businesses, taxpayers, to this group so that they can go out and use their $10 million to lobby to get them.
And I'm not negating those pieces, and I do understand the Hope schools. I'm bringing to the table, let's, yes, agree, I am not for privatization. I do not support vouchers, but I am very much a support of the students that can go apply for a voucher, and those students need our help, and they are not performing at grade level and haven't for 5 years.
I want to give you both
Thank
an opportunity to wrap this up. Shirley, your final thought.
Well, my final thought is that I am adamantly opposed to the special interest and self-serving politicians that are trying to weaken our public schools and expand these private school options that they have. And, you know, they're standing them up. There's no fiscal responsibility. There's no educational responsibility to some of these. When they take a voucher and they go to a private school, they lose those rights that they have, the rights of students with disabilities. They lose them when they go to a private school. They don't have those guarantees. I am adamantly opposed to the privatization of our public school, and I will advocate for public schools every day that I'm on the school board.
And I agree. I'm opposed to privatization, and I do not support vouchers. However, I am going to focus in with my professional education experience and be a fierce advocate for the safety of our schools, the mental health issues overwhelming our schools. I will continue to be an influence in bettering our schools. I've worked directly with our children, our families, our teachers, our administrators, and I will be a strong advocate to direct the funds back to the needs of our students and discontinue building a bureaucracy of adding $1.5 million of assistant principals.
We'll have to leave it there, although we could go on forever. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers had to say about Friday's show on The Week in Washington. President Trump meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Helsinki summit had both sides of the aisle talking. The president received a lot of backlash for not condemning the Russians for interfering in the 2016 election. A new poll shows 85% of Republicans believe the Russia interference is a distraction, while 85% of Democrats believe it's a serious issue. So we went to Facebook for your thoughts, and Mary says 85% of Republicans are either in denial, have no clue what is going on, or have a clue but have no understanding of the implications and impact. William says not one person has claimed that they changed their vote and no actual proof exists. And Joni says, we are a nation divided again. We have seen such division before, like in the 1860s or 1920s. I hope we can resolve it again, reclaiming our former status as an example of humanity's best. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. We want to thank our guests, incumbent Shirley Brown and challenger Karen Rose. When we return, President Trump will tweeting away again about the Russia investigation, what he is saying about the newly released FBI documents. Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. I'll tell you, the sunset isn't going to be spectacular as it was over the weekend on a couple of nights because of some clouds that are coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. This is Tower Cam taking you through time, and you see pretty calm conditions out in the bay, though. Not too bad out there, but boy, a lot of thick clouds, and things are starting to get a little interesting out in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was this morning in Manatee County, but we could still see some isolated cells. It could be pretty strong. The red tide is again the big story in Venice southward into Charlotte Harbor. This has been ongoing for weeks now, and looks like it's only getting worse. So we had just one scientist, a volunteer from Moat, say that they had 1 million cells even today off of Venice, 1 million cells per liter, that is, and that's considered a high category. And those are showing up now in Venice, and then moderate categories and high near Inglewood, stretching southward into Charlotte. We're going to have a special story tomorrow too, Alan. We'll have a couple of great guests on and talk about the red tide and what people are trying and thinking about doing in the future. Well, Sarasota, 12 samples. This was as of Friday. That's the last report from the FWC. We get a midweek report at Wednesday. We'll have that for you. And Titan radar picture, not showing anything going on right now. As I said at the 4 o'clock newscast earlier, if you have any plans this evening up until around 8 o'clock, should be okay. And then there's a possibility of some showers developing after 8 and then making their way on shore. But more so, look at all this energy out here in the Gulf of Mexico. Still, this pretty good line here just showing up, pushing off in a southeasterly direction. You just kind of put this forward in time. It could be close to us. Now, will it hold on? Will it dissipate? We saw a lot of storms out there in the Gulf dissipate today as a result of a stable air layer that moved in, but it looks like we will see a pretty good bet, at least seeing some scattered storms late tonight and during the early morning hours. Now, the Futurecast will show that 1 or 2 lone showers, this one indicating before 11, and then cells approaching the Pinellas County after, say, 2, 3 o'clock, and then some pretty big cells nearby. Now, this isn't set in stone, obviously. This is a forecast model that can be wrong, but we will see some storms around. Exactly where they'll show up, it will be anywhere from Pinellas County southward down into Sarasota and Charlotte counties. And then we'll see some clouds occasionally with some periods of showers and thunderstorms scattered about on Tuesday. Rain chances staying pretty high. Not everyone's going to get the rainfall as we've seen over the past few days, but some places will. 86 in Northport, 87 in Punta Gorda. The Gulf water temperature remains warm at 88. Current conditions, we have 85 degrees, and the dew point temperature is not all that high at 71. The highs tomorrow, we're expected to be very hot in Dallas. Dallas is cooled down to 98 degrees, but the high tomorrow is expected to be right there at the same. Temperatures warming up in St. Louis, but nothing extreme over the northeast because of a trough of low pressure will be in the desert southwest. Southwest winds 5 to 10 knots, picking up to 15 in the afternoon for boaters, seas running 2 to 3 feet. And the forecast, a 60% chance for storms overnight, and then a 50% chance for scattered showers and storms, mainly along the coast in the morning, inland in the afternoon on Wednesday. Same goes true for Thursday. Friday, we transition into those afternoon and evening storms coming back to the coast, and that'll be a real possibility over the weekend. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
July 9th, 2018, an application was filed with the Federal Communications Commission for consent to assign the license of WWSB Channel 24 Sarasota, Florida from WWSB License Subsidiary LLC Assignor to Gray Television Licensee LLC Assignee. A copy of that application and related material is available for public inspection at www.fcc.gov. The officers, directors, and 5% or greater shareholders of the Assignor are WWSB LLC, TV3 LLC, Raycom TV Broadcasting LLC, TV Stations Holdings LLC, Raycom Media Inc., Donald Patrick LaPlatney, Ellen M. B. Yelverton, Susanna Willingham, William R. McDowell, Diane S. Griswold, Kenneth C. Randall, John Lilly, John Stein, Barbara Thomas, Bruno Francisci, Wayne Doherty, George M. Phillip, George Wakefield Jr., Paul H. McTeer Jr., John C. Alexander, John Bradley Strait, Donald Richards, J. David Burke, Joseph G. Five-Ash III, Sandy Breland McNamara, Jeffrey Benninghoff, and Craig McCassell. The proposed assignee is wholly owned by Gray Television Group, Inc., which is wholly owned by WVLT TV, Inc. WVLT TV, Inc. is wholly owned by Gray Television, Inc. The proposed officers, directors, and 5% or greater shareholders of one or more of these entities are Jeff Anderson, Jay Barton, Jim Beck, James Berman, Spencer Bienvenu, Richard L. Boger, Shannon Booth, Mike Braun, Roger Broke, Julia Campbell, Ulysses Carlini, Alan Chapman, Tim Coles, Greg Conklin, Jackson S. Cowart IV, Don Davies, Rick Dean, Tim DeFazio, T.L. Elder, Matt Eldridge, Christine W. Epps, Mike Bass, Chris Fidel, Robert J. Fullard III, Chris Fry, Luis A. Garcia, Mark Kettner, Michelle D. Goddard, Jan Goldstein, Chris Gross, Liz Holtewanger, Jasmine Harden, Richard B. Hare, Annette Heath, Hilton H. Howell Jr., Robin R. Howell, Matt Jaquaint, Nancy Johnson, Mike King, Michael King, Eric Krebs, Alan Lancaster, Kelly Landine, Donald Patrick LaPlatney, Kevin P. Latek, Steve Lavin, Kim Lee, Ken Long, Laura Long, Vance F. Luke, Nick Matisi, Wendy Mabranek, Brian McDonough, Terry McHugh, Paul McDare, Becky Meyer, Neil Middleton, Brad Moses, Matt Moran, Chris Mossman, Tim Myers, Elizabeth R. Newhoff, Howell W. Newton, Huey Norton, Mike Oates, John O'Brien, Brad O'Dill, Heather Peoples, Tom Pritz, Matt Fumo, Sasha Percival, Sue Ramsett, Rick Rhodes, Harriet R. Robinson, James C. Ryan, Barry Schemeyer, Bob Smith, Andrew Stewart, Stacy Stewart, Don Vesley, Peter Bateau, Louis Villarreal, Tim Walker, Nick Waller, James Wareham, Treg White, Mike Wright, and Atlantic American Corporation.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beauty Rest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Checking primetime headlines now to the ongoing Russia probe. President Trump firing off tweets once again blasting special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation as a witch hunt. after newly released FBI documents. This as Mueller prepares for the first trial stemming from his investigation against Trump's former campaign chair, Paul Manafort. ABC's Tara Palmieri has more.
President Trump still defending his press conference in Helsinki with Vladimir Putin, where he lavished praise on the Russian president, tweeting, quote, "Remember, I gave up nothing. We merely talked about future benefits for both countries." At the same time, he's tweeting that the investigation into whether his campaign colluded with the Russians is, quote, all a big hoax. The president citing a redacted FBI FISA warrant released this weekend to back his claim. The FBI filed the warrant to surveil former campaign advisor Carter Page a month before the election because they suspected he was being recruited as a Russian agent. Page has denied it, telling CNN,
I've never been an agent of the foreign power by any stretch of the imagination.
Trump claims the FBI was politically motivated because to support their surveillance request, the warrant references an opposition research known as the Steele dossier that was paid for in part by the Clinton campaign.
His campaign colluding in that process is a total hoax.
But 3 separate judges also approved other FBI requests to monitor Page.
Carter Page had in fact been a target of Russian intelligence in the past, that Carter Page had gone to Russia during the campaign, that he had meetings with the Russian officials that Page had publicly denied.
And critics say the documents showed the FBI's fears were warranted. Meanwhile, President Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort was in court in Virginia today, where the judge ruled his criminal trial will be delayed until July 31st.
The judge dealt a major blow to Paul Manafort today when he gave immunity to 5 of the witnesses testifying in the trial. The prosecutors say they have 30 witnesses that will testify. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump is scheduled to come to Tampa next week. Trump will hold a rally for Congressman Ron DeSantis for his gubernatorial campaign. He will also be at Tampa Bay Technical High School to promote and highlight vocational technical education and training. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.